What's up, YouTube? It's Anthony from Meineke, cinnaminson. It's the day before Christmas, catching up on some tech videos. So Saturday we worked on a 2011 Chevy Cruze 1.4 turbo. And I've seen a few of these cars in last year with bad turbos. This year I'm seeing them in with some oil leaks, and I'm going to cover what we found. Since the car's already finished and out, I want to show you what we experienced. So at the engine block on the bottom, you'll see your oil filter housing, and behind the turbo is the actual oil cooler. And what we've seen was oil was just leaking right out of this area, and it's been leaking for a while. So you can see the oil cooler's here. The dealer sells this as one entire assembly. It does not come with the oil pressure switch, and it does not come with the turbo oil feed O-ring. And I'm going to show you in another picture where the oil feed line is, if it'll let me get in here. Okay, so on the oil filter housing, this is the pressure feed line for the turbo. You can get just the O-rings for that. So if you're going to do this job, buy the oil feed line O-rings. If not, buy the whole oil tube assembly, oil line from the dealer. I think it was $24 or something like that. The one that we had tons of rust on it. It's just a good idea to replace that. They do get clogged up and sludged up over the years, depending on what you're working on. So I'm going to tell you, there is no secret to this. I did this without taking off the entire exhaust manifold, meaning taking it out of the car, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. If they'll give me a picture. Alright, so here's the exhaust manifold. Alright, I didn't take the turbo and manifold out. What I did is I did all the 10mm bolts on it. There's also a coolant tube that goes to the turbo housing right in the back that's on a rubber line. I left that one connected. So you're going to take off all the bolts that hold the manifold on. Obviously disconnect the inlet pipe, the exhaust pipe. I left the vacuum line connected to be careful with it, and basically what I did is I laid it back towards the radiator while I was working on it. I had another technician hold it out of the way, so I didn't have to take the whole thing apart. And then I'll explain what else goes on. They give us a better picture up here. Let's see. So here's how this works. This tube goes right into the engine block, and then this seal here, I'm guessing, is the feed to the filter, and then that's the return back from the oil cooler. So the O-ring comes on the new cooler, the gasket comes on the new cooler, the oil pressure switch does not, and then inside the oil filter housing from GM came with a new filter and cap. Over here is a coolant tube, so that's actually bolted to the engine block behind the turbo. So remember, the manifold's laid back, there's a few Torx screws here, which are 3, and then one clip that holds a coolant hose on. You're going to wiggle this back, all right, so you see how that's inside there? You're going to wiggle this back out, and then you're going to slide it off the tube behind the turbo, which is the coolant tube. And you'll have to just like wiggle it just a little bit back and forth. You'll see when you get in there. You know, this is the first one that I've ever had to do, and like I said, I left the exhaust manifold and turbo in the car, laid it back towards the radiator, so I didn't have to take anything else completely off. Obviously, the converter assembly had to come off. Really wasn't much else to be concerned with that I could think of. When you put this back on, use a little wheel bearing grease here and on the coolant tube. So when you slide everything back together, it goes on nice and easy. This kit also did not come with the cooler tube seal. So be careful, because they were all odd sizes. The O-ring for the oil feed line is not like a normal O-ring. There's actually 2 of them, and they're a very odd width. So like I said, replace the oil feed line to the turbo, or get 2 O-rings, seals from the dealer when you do this job. Any questions, inbox me, Meineke, cinnaminson, or call.